Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for your patience. We have a lot to talk about. The decision of the jury and the court will be, next week? Tomorrow, the closing arguments will be presented to the jury, and we're going to talk about that. D-Rock, hello. Herschel Ballard, everybody here. Hello, Eric. Lisa, Malcolm, everybody, Michigan Grandma, hello, thank you so very much, by the way, for being so patient. To my super chat, ladies and gentlemen, I can't do this without you. So if you want to support my work and if you want to support these live streams, your super chat is greatly, greatly appreciated. Anything you want to talk about, the Durham Probe Special Counsel, we're going to talk about the economy as well, of course, the stock market, and as you know, ladies and gentlemen, I have the stock market crash channel, the Bitcoin crash channel, and that's going to be below in the pinned comment of every one of my segments, and it's on the homepage also of of H.A. Goodman, this channel. Also become a member. But to my super chat, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot do this without you. We have a lot to talk about, and the interesting thing is, if it's just about the issue of lying, then Sussman is convicted. So if it's just about the issue, if the jury is just focusing on the issue at hand, or why he was indicted in the first place, if the jury is just focusing on why he was indicted, he'll get convicted. Durham trial, Baker 100% confident Sussman told him he was acting alone. So this is a Washington Examiner article. James Baker, the FBI's former general counsel, testified he was 100% confident Democratic cybersecurity lawyer Michael Sussman told him in a September 2016 meeting he was not there on behalf of a client when pushing false Trump-Russia claims. Okay, so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's right there. You don't really have to look far. Sussman told Baker, according to Baker, that he wasn't there on behalf of Clinton. It's not that difficult. You see, there's basically two tiers of justice, or a double standard when it comes to justice. With Trump, they can accuse him of anything. They can make the most absurd leaps of logic. They can make the absolute most absurd leaps of logic. They can say, oh my God, he's working with the Kremlin, and oh my God, he's a big problem. He's a national security issue. We have to investigate him forever, and they'll just go ahead and investigate him. With Trump, you can purchase a Steele dossier against Trump. You could go ahead and do all these things. They would never even they wouldn't even allow us to talk about Hunter's emails. So you have to yes, there is a two-tier, or there's a double standard when it comes to justice. The issue, however, is that the House and Senate are going Republican, Trump Republican, thank God. Trump Republican in the midterms, the House and the Senate, okay? We're heading into a recession, ladies and gentlemen, okay, with inflation rising. And this is in mashed potato brain Biden's second term. You can't say that it's Trump's fault or it's the Republican Party's fault. It's in his second term, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what takes place when you have a political party that cares only about political power. Democrats claim to care about working people, people struggling with a paycheck, but they've spent 4, 5, 6 years basically claiming that Trump was installed by the Kremlin. That's all. That's their main. That is their greatest achievement. Can you name a policy that they're so proud about their policies? Can you name a policy? Can you name a policy in the past 4 years since they've been elected in the House and the past 2 years that they've had the Senate? Technically had the Senate. Can you name one policy, ladies and gentlemen? Can you name one thing Democrats have done aside from investigate Trump? And by the way, the investigations of Trump have led to nothing. They've investigated Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz. They've investigated every political opponent. They've utilized the United States government against political opponents since James Comey and Clapper and Brennan and Strzok and McCabe. They've found absolutely nothing. Now, imagine if you actually had an investigation of Hunter or his emails or Mashed Potato Brains Joe or Madam Secretary, and I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. I want a Clinton, Trump 2024, Clinton DeSantis. We need to have that happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, do I know, what do I think is going to happen with the Durham probe, or at least the trial? There are going to be more indictments, certainly, especially when you have Sussman's defense that everyone at the Bureau knew. If Sussman's defense is that everyone at the Bureau knew that Sussman and others worked for the Clinton campaign, they had no problem, you're basically saying that a whole lot more people should be indicted. If the defense for Michael Sussman is that the entire FBI knew that the information they were getting was information from the Clinton campaign, and yet they still investigated Trump, that means they broke 18 U.S. Code 371. That's the statute. Now, we could have a hung jury, mistrial, and there could be another retrial. I mean, that's possible. That is possible, ladies and gentlemen. That's possible. We could have that. And if we do have that, people shouldn't take it as this monumental loss. The media will try their best to kind of spin it as, oh, well, Durham found nothing, it was a mistrial. But at the same time, you have to understand, the Mueller probe was celebrated every single day. And you're not really, it's obvious Sussman was there for Clinton. I think that he will get convicted. I think it's pretty obvious he'll get convicted. It's pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious. However, you never know. If it's a retrial, they do it all over again. And they probably add the text message as one of the most important pieces of evidence. If you look here, I'll read you this, ladies and gentlemen. Durham's case here, you have this right here. So, Durham's case against Michael Sussman just got tougher. Here you have something important right here. The second big problem is the 5-year statute of limitation. Durham was right up against the deadline to file charges when he indicted Sussman in September 2021. 6 months later, when interviewing Baker in preparation for his upcoming testimony, Durham asked Baker, who no longer works for the government, to check his personal records for any information that might be relevant to the case. At that point, Baker checked his stored text messages and found several from Sussman, including the text message from September 18, 2016. Ordinarily, a prosecutor who'd received such ironclad proof of false statement would simply go back to the grand jury and obtain a superseding indictment, charging the text as a separate false statement count. In this instance, however, the 5-year statute of limitations had already lapsed. Durham was not in a position to add new charges related to the events in September 2016. In fact, even superseding the indictment to describe the text rather than separately charging it would have raised legal objections that the prosecutors were changing the indictment after the statute of limitations had run. So Durham was thus stuck with the indictment as it was written before the existence of the text was known. Importantly, this does not mean the text is out of the case completely. To the contrary, prosecutors will still be permitted by the judge to argue that the text is strong evidence that Baker is correct, that at the September 19th meeting, the judge insisted that he was not Sussman insisted, as a typo, Sussman insisted that he was not representing a client. Prosecutors will point to the text right before the meeting, as well as Baker telling other FBI officials right after the meeting that Sussman had said he was not representing a client. Based on that, Durham's team will argue that the proof of Sussman's false statement is convincing. It's pretty glaring. The evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming that that Sussman lied. Okay, and see, you get a conviction of Michael Sussman, but it's like in the overall scheme, like the big picture, I don't really know. Like, this is more in terms of like the issue is people conspiring against Trump. It's not this. The issue is the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute. Okay, that's the statute. If you look here, U.S. Code 371. Okay, so here, 18 U.S. Code 371. Conspire to commit offense or to defraud the United States. If two or more persons conspire to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States or any agency thereof in any manner for any purpose, and one or more of such persons do any act to affect the object of the, okay, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned, not more than 5 years or both. So there you go. It's the 18 U.S. Code 371. They utilized the United States of America. They utilized government agencies to go after Trump. That's what they did. It's pretty obvious. So I don't think Durham, I don't think Durham is, I don't think he's really waiting to, he's using this indictment or this conviction or a retrial. So, nevertheless, prosecutors will not be permitted to argue that Sussman is guilty of making a false statement solely based on the text. To convict him, the jury must be convinced that Sussman made the false statement at the meeting with Baker. That makes it much tougher for the special counsel, John Durham. So, the technicality is, he billed the Clinton campaign. You had other agents saying that he was lying. You have Baker saying he was lying. You have a text message where he's actually lying that everyone can see. But one or two people within the jury can say, you know what? Okay, sorry. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see. How is this? Is this better? Freedom on top. See everybody here. Is this better? Does this sound better, ladies and gentlemen? How is this? Let me know. Does the audio sound better like this? Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Does the audio sound a little better this way? Let me know, people. Okay, good. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where there could be a retrial. There could be a retrial. There could be a hung jury. There could be a hung jury, a retrial, or a hung jury, a mistrial, then a retrial. They could go after Sussman again. The arguments by the defense, ladies and gentlemen, the arguments by the defense could be utilized for statutes pertaining to people who conspired against Trump. See, all of these people think they're going to get away scot-free, and maybe many of them will, okay? But along the way, you're going to have people who, like Sussman, lied, these are political operatives. These are political operatives who, through legal means, broke the law. Isn't that interesting? Through legal means, they broke the law. Generally, by following the law, thank you, Reese. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Miss Truth Rules. Thank you, everybody. Freedom Autopsy, hello. Through legal means, they broke the law. Meaning that there's no law against Sussman meeting with Baker. There's no law against Peter Strzok meeting with Flynn. There's no law against James Comey stating that he didn't know the Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. There's no law against Clinton purchasing the Steele dossier. There's no law against the Democrats outsourcing Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele and a third-party tech firm. They didn't break the law within those, and Sussman is telling the truth. Everybody at the Bureau knew. I mean, that's the thing. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, the way the judge and the jury look at things is the following. They're going to look at things and they're going to say, okay, we are just looking. The judge and the jury, the only thing they care about, they don't care about Trump being set up and framed. They don't care about Trump being set up and framed. What they care about is, did he lie? Did Sussman lie? That's it. That's all they care about, is whether Sussman lied or not. They don't really see that Trump was the victim of a whole bunch of people conspiring against him. Now, CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times, morally superior liberal Democrats everywhere, they don't care. Well, the way they view it is they have political power. They had the ability to set Trump up and investigate him because Trump was capable of anything. So the people who have critical thinking skills say, well, at least you know what, he was capable of anything, even though there was no reason. Kessler, hello. So what's your justification for a 10? Because I guess a couple of reasons. Bitcoin is tied directly to. So one question is very interesting. I just want to address that. Great question. So I started a Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower channel, and again, I don't want this to happen, or I'm not gleeful, or I'm not happy that Bitcoin's gonna crash to 10,000 or below. But if you look right now, ladies and gentlemen, and Kessler, it's at 28 right now. Okay, so you see what's taking place in the NASDAQ. And I said the NASDAQ would actually get pummeled this year. I said in September, the Dow, the NASDAQ would all just get pummeled. If you look year to date, it's down 39% Bitcoin. It mirrors the market. The market, we're still in a bubble. And you have companies like Tesla, MicroStrategy, Square, Coinbase, which will go under because I don't think it's a very good company in my humble view. The entire crypto scene, you have Terra Luna becoming non-existent, losing tens of billions of dollars. Tether is not really backed by a dollar. The bubble that was inflated, the $10 trillion that was pumped into the economy, helped inflate the crypto bubble. $1 trillion. $1 trillion of it. Of the entire Bitcoin crypto market is like a $3 trillion market, from what I understand. About 1.3 trillion was invested by institutions and hedge funds and big corporations within the span of a year. Now you're seeing all of that. You're seeing these people as they're losing money, like Tesla, MicroStrategy, Square, they'll all have to sell their Bitcoin because there's a phrase that I read today that I did a segment on, the Bitcoin margin call. There's a loan actually that if it gets down to 21,000, one of the companies took out a loan with Bitcoin as collateral. And so if it gets to 21,000, they're going to have to sell a good amount of the Bitcoin, which will tank the price even further. But the thing is, like, we're heading into a recession. So that's why, Kessler, that's why. It hasn't been adopted, Bitcoin has not been adopted by most of humanity. Neither has Ethereum, and most of those cryptocurrencies. There's like this TikTok or YouTube of Do Kwon being interviewed, and this was before Terra Luna completely, tanked. He said 95% of cryptocurrencies are going to be obsolete, won't be around. Yeah, so I agree with you. The Nasdaq, the stock market is correlated to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin price is correlated to the willingness for speculation. So again, Kessler and everybody here, or the people who are interested, I don't think Bitcoin is going to be, I don't think it'll be done, or it'll evaporate or cease to exist. I think it's going to be around for a long time. Now, if there is a possibility it gets to zero, but I think that years from now it'll still be around and still be valuable. Years from now, probably Ethereum will be still around. Everything else, Coinbase, Tether, XRP, all of these, the crypto universe, 95%, maybe even 98% won't be around. Not that I want that to happen. And also there's an interesting article here, like the DeFi, the decentralized finance is a huge thing, but even that has problems. Criminals have made off with over 10 billion in DeFi scams and thefts this year. So DeFi, or decentralized finance products, aim to replicate traditional finance services using blockchain. But the collateral for these loans are cryptocurrencies, tokens, coins, that will either be zero or in Bitcoin's case be a lot lower than they are now. So investors have lost billions of dollars to criminals targeting so-called decentralized finance platforms this year. And Ethereum is the blockchain where these the smart contracts are created, and where the DeFi is centralized, so to speak. According to a report by a London-based firm, more than $10 billion worth of user funds have been stolen in cases of fraud and theft on DeFi products, which aim to replicate traditional financial services using blockchain technology. So DeFi has often been referred to as the Wild West of cryptocurrencies. Such services often promise users huge returns but lack any involvement from middlemen like banks. High interest rate savings and lending products are a common sight in the space. But as to be expected with a young industry like crypto, DeFi platforms aren't regulated. Okay, even with regulation, you can't really even with regulation, you can't ensure that you don't have a savings and loan scandal or an AIG and all of that. But Sandra, hello. But Nunya business, thank you. But here, so that's you see, this is a moment in time where I've heard some people talk about, Bitcoin or crypto might have been pumped up too soon. Like the industry trillions of dollars might have been pumped into it maybe 5-10 years too soon, because it hasn't been the adoption is very slow. People don't see. Initially, Bitcoin was thought of as a way to replace dollar bills. Then it became a store of value. Well, it's neither. It's not a store of value, because it's too volatile, which is why they created these stable coins, which aren't stable at all. They're not pegged to a dollar. Tether is now going into other countries and being backed to the currency of other countries, which makes no sense to me because they're not even backed by a dollar. But once you have these, like Coinbase is losing 400 million last quarter. This is before the last couple of months of, this is before the last couple of months where you had the crypto crash. And I said in September of 2021, if you look in the description section of all of my segments, and the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower channel, and the stock market crash channel, if you look, I said that crypto was going to crash, Bitcoin was going to crash in September of 2021, and in January of 2021 I said that Bitcoin would get to 10,000 or below. But here, getting back to Durham, there could be, if Fook, hello, Fook, hello, hi HA, thanks for what you do, thank you. I'll just say PA, thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. PA, greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you, PA, thank you. I appreciate that. PA, thank you so very much. To my super chat, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, Reese, greatly appreciated. PA, thank you so very, very much. Nunya, thank you. Monique, hello. Thank you, Monique, for being a Patreon. Thank you so very much. PA, thank you so very much for your super chat. And to my super chat, thank you. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we'll find out next week. We'll find out next week. He gets convicted. Okay, great. It's a huge public relations victory for the Durham Probe Special Counsel, and maybe a huge step towards further indictments. But if there's a hung jury, that is not a bad thing. I know you don't want to hear that, Sandra. Thank you. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's not a bad thing. Okay, how many people agree with me that a hung jury wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing? How many people agree with me? We had 245 going on 300 people. How many people agree with me that it wouldn't be necessarily a horrible thing? That it could lead to more indictments just based on the jury actually agreeing with us. See, the DC jury would actually agree with every conservative journalist, every observer that sees that Trump was set up and framed. If a DC jury is actually going to say, okay, you know what? Thank you. Shades Works. Thank you. Monique, thank you. PA, thank you again for the super chat. Thank you to my super chat. Thank you. I can't do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your support. Exactly. Die to die, hello. Thank you as always for watching. In Nepal, thank you. It's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. That's why, like, I'm usually pretty passionate or positive, and I'm just preparing. I'm preparing for the possibility that because of certain technicalities, you're not going to, if there's one or two people within that jury that say, hey, you know what? Because honestly, Sussman is actually telling the truth. The truth, however, is that Trump was set up and framed by a lot of people. So Sussman is actually telling the truth. Joanne, hello. Eric, hello. Sussman is telling the truth. The truth is, the truth is the following. The truth is that he knew that Baker, James Baker knew. James Baker knew. He knew that he was friends with Sussman. He knew who Sussman worked for, and he wasn't deceived or tricked or duped. He knew exactly why Sussman was there. Okay? He knew. Sussman was there for one reason. Okay, Sussman was there for one reason: to funnel information, into a government agency, to get that government agency to investigate Trump. PA, thank you again. So he knew that. He knew that. It's not like he didn't know. So you have one or two people in that jury that will put two and two together and say, okay, there was at least, he couldn't have lied, because at the end of the day, James Baker knew that Sussman worked for Clinton and was okay with it. Okay, so there you go. Exactly, shades work, exactly. Jake, hello. If a DC jury agrees with you and me, that's that is a huge sea change in terms of how the Durham Probe Special Counsel is viewed. The Durham Probe Special Counsel is like nobody on the left. The same people who were like obsessed with Mueller, those same people don't like this special counsel. They definitely don't like this special counsel at all. Okay? They definitely don't like this special counsel. They don't want anything to do with this special counsel, okay? What do they call him? Bull Durham, which is hilarious. Or Bull, you know what, Durham. It's kind of hilarious. But imagine if you had the same media coverage, and that's changing. Like, you'll have a lot more media coverage. You'll have a lot more media coverage when the House and Senate go Republican. Like, next year is going to be amazing. This November is going to be amazing. Be here, the live stream here is going to be unbelievable in November. We'll have live streams. That entire night during the midterms. I mean, and I hate to, I don't want to, I don't want this to happen, but you're looking at, it's just going to get worse. It's actually going to get worse. The economy, everything. So, I don't want that to happen, but we're going into midterms. We're going into midterms with a recession and a geopolitical nightmare and President Mashed Potato Brains who doesn't know what's going on. The entire country doesn't look like there is no leadership in the country. There's no need for a resistance with Mashed Potato Brains Biden, because there's nothing really to resist. He doesn't know what he's doing from 1 month to another. So it's very difficult to resist somebody who actually just reacts to calamities that he helped create, or the Democrats helped create. The Democratic Party caused the inflation that we see. They ended economic activity, then pumped money into the economy. Then they were very happy that poverty was alleviated, and And states had a lot of money. It's like, well, yeah, you pumped $10 trillion into the economy. You pumped $10 trillion into the economy. And then Trump was in a bad place because Republicans said, nah, you know what? Let's not give as much of a stimulus check. And they were haggling and negotiating with Democrats at a time when Democrats had successfully ended economic activity with the help of media and bureaucrats and unelected officials. So it was like a no-win situation as last year. Completely no-win situation. But I mean, like, this has taken a long time. No matter what happens next week, it'll be very interesting. You know, if it's a mistrial, then he's going to, I think, be able to actually add the text message. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see, because the text message is not part of the indictment. So the text message is the clearest indication, without a shadow of a doubt, that he lied. So it'll be interesting. So I mean, the big issue is the Igor Danchenko indictment. That is, or the trial, that's another trial coming up where you really don't have, this man doesn't have the luxury of what Sussman had. Sussman was an attorney hired by the Clinton campaign who, if he's lucky beyond belief, will get a hung jury. But the Igor Danchenko trial is somebody who lied about the Steele dossier. So you lied about the Steele dossier, and you can just look. I mean, it's endless. So hold on one second. So Politico, Steele dossier, source arrested. Special counsel probing the origins of the investigation. And a researcher, Danchenko, was arrested Thursday in Northern Virginia on an indictment that special counsel John Durham obtained, charging the researcher with 5 felony counts of making false statements to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. 5 felony counts. So, I mean, you're not really going to get out of that one. Here's the actual indictment. And this ties into Fusion GPS, and he actually worked. The interesting thing with this, okay, this person being indicted was actually getting information from a public relations executive or PR person. Check this out. I mean, you're not going to believe this. He was getting information from a PR person linked to the Clintons. Stated falsely that he had never communicated with a particular U.S.-based individual, okay, who was a longtime participant in party politics and then an executive at a U.S. public relations firm. That PR firm was directly tied to Bill and Hillary. Oh, don't bring my name up. Don't talk about me. Again, Bill and Hillary at the center of everything. I mean, he was feeding information to the Federal Bureau of Investigation that was being fed to him by an operative. Like, there are so many. The Clintons, it's unbelievable. This is why I want a Hillary Trump 2024. The Clintons have an endless list of operatives. It's pretty unbelievable. The Democratic Party, it's like, Without the really nasty games they play, they wouldn't have a political party. Monique Smith! Yay, at the super chat. Monique Smith, thank you! Thank you, Monique! Thank you, Monique. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Herschel Ballard! Herschel, thank you as always. Monique! You're awesome, Monique. Thank you, PA. You're awesome. Herschel, you're awesome. You're all awesome. Thank you so very much. Monique, thank you so very much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Herschel. Thank you, Monique Smith. Thank you so very, very much. I hope all is well, Monique. Thank you. But 5 felony counts, I mean, this is like... if you are not Kevin Kleinsmith and you don't work for the government at this juncture, or if you're not working for a DC law firm where you can kind of slither your way out of being an operative because everyone at the Bureau was so utterly corrupt that they knew you were, funneling Clinton-purchased dossiers or Alpha Bank allegations into a government agency, utilizing taxpayer dollars to investigate Trump. Like, this poor man can't get out of it. What he should do is, what these people should do immediately is say, look, I have the goods on anyone you want. That's what they should do. Try to get a plea deal going. Just try to get a plea deal. Do what Michael Cohen did. Michael Cohen had a failed taxi business and then engaged in major bank fraud. And then he just, sold his soul. But the thing is, Trump was never guilty of anything. So it's not like Michael Cohen was more than willing to testify against Trump, but there was nothing to testify against. Trump never did anything with the Kremlin or never did anything illegal. That's why they can't indict him, because he didn't do anything illegal. They could indict Madam Secretary. They just decided they can't. They don't want to. So, Monique, thank you again. So kind of you. Information from Danchenko was a central element of a series of reports from Christopher Steele of the Democratic National Committee, Hillary Clinton's campaign commission, to detail alleged ties between Trump. And here's the problem. Trump's direct political rival was giving information to government agencies. End of story. That should never have happened. That should never have happened. You had an outgoing Democratic administration accusing an incoming Republican. If the tables were turned, they would never stand for that. They would absolutely never stand for that. However, several claims in the dossier turned out to be, no, how about everything? How about everything was false? You know what they're falling back on? Well, at least, we know the Kremlin wanted Trump. No, we don't know that. We don't know any of that. Because Facebook ads, which they can't even describe a Facebook ad. If you ask the Democrat, which you shouldn't, don't ever talk to a morally superior Democrat of politics. They won't be able. It's easy to refute everything they say, but the more that you issue, the more rebuttals you issue, or the more you refute their arguments, they just get they can't stand it. They just can't stand it. They get really upset. And so Danchenko was first identified as a Steele source amid the Senate Republican investigation. And he then said in 2017, some of the most glaring allegations in the dossier were based on hearsay or rumor. Well, we knew that. That's what I was saying from I remember late 2016, I said the whole thing was nonsense. The whole thing was nonsense. It was complete and utter nonsense. And Republicans did this to Trump. I mean, also, the PR executive who offered the candid assessment of Danchenko goes unnamed, but he is the longtime Democratic activist. And the absolutely nutty thing is that the PR executive that worked with Danchenko is very likely going to be a witness against him. I mean, these people turn on each other. It's like unbelievable. The question for Danchenko or Sussman or anyone involved in this is, why would you, like, how much money is worth doing all of this? Why would you do all of this? A public relations executive and Democratic activist with close ties to the Clintons, wrote an email that said of Danchenko, he's too young, okay, but I think he works, since he told, so there you go. I mean, it's like unbelievable. And then this executive, Dolan, worked on the firm's lobbying efforts for the country. That is hilarious. This is so hilarious. For the country, the Democrats blame everything on. It was really hilarious. So, and it's interesting too, because if you look at, and Monique, thank you, and PA, thank you. If you look at the Mueller probe, every single revelation, which really led to nothing, was celebrated. Oh, it's Mueller time! It's Mueller time! Oh my God! So Steele dossier source up next in Durham probe of Trump-Russia investigations. In Danchenko's case, the alleged falsehoods include denying that public relations executive Chuck Dolan, a longtime Bill and Hillary Clinton supporter, provided him with information that he passed along to Christopher Steele. I mean, you can't, I mean, this is like, they're like the Keystone Cops of political operatives. You have one man facing a trial for working with somebody who is tied to the Clintons. But that's the thing, it's like, if you're working or doing a favor or being hired and you're within the world of democratic politics, it is only a matter of time before they testify against you, put you in tremendous legal jeopardy, or you get caught up with the Durham probe special counsel. I mean, it's never, no good deed goes unpunished within the Democratic Party if you think anything they're doing with the dossier is a good deed. They really didn't have anything against Trump. Like, Democrats, the only thing they had against Trump was their perception of him. He was a very good president, like objectively a good president. Objectively, if he just wasn't orange and mean and a billionaire and tweeted offensive things or was mean on Twitter, if you just looked at him just from the standpoint of the economy and foreign policy, he was a very good president. I mean, objectively, a very good president. I can go through 10 to 20 things he did, like I usually do, from the economy to foreign policy, that President Mashed Potato Brains, our current quote-unquote leader, who's leading us into oblivion, is nowhere near in terms of accomplishments. But they didn't like him. They create this fantasy, they create a nightmarish world where anyone they oppose is like the embodiment of evil. Notice, by the way, when a tragedy takes place, they don't call the lunatic. They never disparage the lunatic. They save like their vitriol for political opponents. You never hear them actually stating something about, about an actual lunatic. So, days after Danchenko's November indictment, Trump's second national security advisor, John Ratcliffe, predicted that, quote, there will be many indictments based on the intelligence that I gave to John Durham that I have seen. So there you go. I mean, this is just the beginning. Cali boy! Cali boy! I wish there was a way we could find out how many of the jurors are liberal Dems. It'd be interesting. From what I read, it's 2 or 3. Cali boy, thank you so very, very much. From what I read, it's 2 or 3. One gave to Clinton, and then one didn't like Trump. So I believe 2, from what we know thus far, it's 2. So Cali boy, thank you so very much for your support. Thank you. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Yeah, so 2. 2 or 3. Probably 2 or 3. It's D.C., so it's majority Democrats. I would be shocked if there was more than 1 or 2 people within the jury that voted for Trump. If anyone did, but maybe 1 or 2. Cali boy, thank you again. So yeah, 2. One gave to Democrats in 2016, and then another one stated that he or she didn't like Trump. So other than that, it's interesting. It's interesting because anyone on the planet would have been indicted already. But you're dealing with an attorney at a top D.C. law firm. So, I mean, it's pretty clear cut. He lied in the text message. That's why I say he lied to Baker. It's pretty clear cut. Monique P.A., Cali boy, thank you again. To my super chat, thank you. I can't do this without you. It's pretty clear cut. I don't I'm just being very cautious because, I'm not I know that people, a lot of people will be, disheartened. And they'll say, oh, here we go. There's no justice. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, I mean, it's going to take, look, the remainder of this year is going to be fantastic. It is going to be fantastic, really will. You have the midterms coming up. Unfortunately, I say this this is not the fantastic part, but Cali boy, Monique, and PA, and everybody here, Herschel, like I told everybody, the stock market is going to continue to descend. The NASDAQ, the Dow will get way below 30,000. And I say this with all due respect, Bitcoin, crypto. It's the dot-com bubble times 10. My God. Then, like, they came out today with, this makes no sense at all. I did a segment on this. And this makes no sense at all. Here. So, soul-bound tokens. This makes no sense. Why would you want this? Your whole identity could soon live on a soul-bound token. Why would anyone want this? Early this year, Vitalik Buterin co-authored a paper outlining his vision for a decentralized society. Why would I want to live within a crypto world where individuals accrue a permanent record of merits and attributes that are stored in a private blockchain wallets as non-tradable crypto assets? What? Why would I want that? This is one step above for Meta. Remember Meta? The Facebook? Hey everybody, I'm in a virtual bar. Hey, what's your name? Mary. Hi Mary. I am Trump 2024 robot. Want to come to the Trump the Trump 2024 fundraising party? Security! A Trumper! No! Oh, wait a second. This is Meta, isn't it? Isn't this a virtual reality world? Wait, they don't allow Trump people here? No! Tig! U.S. Tig! Thank you! Just dropping in quick. Hello, H.A. David, entire community. Thank you so very much, Tig. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Tig, as always, thank you so very much. Thank you so very, very, very much, Tig. Thank you. Cali boy, hello, everybody here. Why would I want that? Please tell me why I would want that. Why would I want that? I'm still getting used to, in my older age, I'm still getting used to reality. I'm trying to get used to the real world. I don't need to be in Meta or Facebook or definitely not the dystopian nightmare of Twitter. It's probably going to be a lot better with Elon Musk, but I don't need that. Why would I want to be in a crypto world? The whole thing's going to implode. You don't even need to know much. Like, I'm researching more and more about the crypto world, but the more and more I research, the more my initial projection is bolstered. I knew a tiny amount, but now I know a little bit more. And every day, because I have a Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or below or lower channel, the Bitcoin is going to get to 10,000. The technology is not why. The technology has nothing to do with the speculation. So I started the channel based on a macroeconomic perspective. The speculation is tied to the market imploding, and so the desire of people, the willingness of people to take risk will be non-existent in the next couple of months. But now you have, this is kind of like a scam. I mean, it's kind of a scam. So here, imagine a world where the most participants have souls, digital wallets that store SBTs. Soul-bound tokens. Tig, thank you again. Tig, thank you to my super chat. Thank you. Why would you want that? Why would you imagine a world where most participants have souls, digital wallets that store soul-bound tokens corresponding to a series of affiliations, memberships, and credentials? Why would I want? Not everybody has. I mean, how many memberships do you have? 24-hour fitness. It's like, what other memberships do you have? I mean, do you have that many memberships and affiliations? How many people have all these memberships and affiliations? I'm part of the Better Business Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce. What are you, like Fletch? Like the movie Fletch, you have 50 identities? How many like memberships and affiliations and credentials do you have? And this man, Vitalik Buterin, is a genius, brilliant, but it's like this world has not correlated to the real world. This is a digital, not utopia, but a digital world that aims to be utopian, but in reality has a million different scams and pitfalls and, criminals. People don't set out in this kind of world like the Terra Luna people, and like they probably don't set out to be criminals, but when they get like $10-20 million, it's like, gosh, we're going to continue doing this until it implodes. So they probably like the momentum. It's like this locomotive. They just like you're on this moving train where everything happens so quickly, and they don't realize, like the people who started Coinbase, they probably were very, idealistic. And I've heard like the CEO speak, seems like a very intelligent man, but they're confiscating crypto. They're confiscating your money. Are you serious? Are they serious? I mean, imagine, you go and imagine you put $100,000 or $20,000. Imagine if you put $5,000. That's a lot of money. $1,000 people don't have. Okay, imagine you put $1,000 in Coinbase, okay, and it gets hacked, and you want to call up, and they're like, please go ahead, and I don't even know what the thing is, but please go ahead and email us at customer service so we can never email you again. $1,000, and by the way, there's like a $30,000. There's like a class action lawsuit against them for about $30,000, I think. There's numerous lawsuits. So, like, why would anyone want this? The whole Bitcoin, the Bitcoin philosophy is that you don't want to be part of some kind of system where there's a social credit system, or like you don't want to be part of that. It's not something you want to be part of, Here you have Ethereum sinks it as its beacon chain suffers a reorg issue. Other altcoins see red. Bitcoin struggles to hold 30,000. I mean, Bitcoin is, the whole thing's tanking. I said it would in Ethereum too. It's like, the more I look at this, even though they say Ethereum, is the place where all the DeFi smart contracts are coded, and that's where all the financing and all the the technological advances. They say that Ethereum is more advanced in terms of the blockchain or technology than Bitcoin, but it's like this whole thing is like I saw that, Pete. That's funny. Um, it's like this is Cali boy, exactly. Meta World. I love Meta World Peace. Love. One of my favorite basketball players on the Lakers. One of my favorite basketball players of all time. He was great on the Pacers. Long time ago. He was one of the, pillars of those championship teams. So, Ethereum sinks, Bitcoin struggles to hold 30,000. If Bitcoin's struggling to hold 30,000 now, and this is the thing, it's like you have now two dystopian, nightmarish scenarios. Like, you have a possible, like, you have an implosion in the stock market, and you also have an implosion in the crypto world. And then we're not even getting to real estate and the bond market. Interest rates going up. That is just going, like, people have too much debt already. Everyone has so much debt. And that's because we ended economic activity, because maniacs told us that we had to end economic activity. Sandra, I do. More so than now, much more so than now. Yeah, Twitter is just, it is just, I was like, should I start a Bitcoin Crash Twitter channel? But like, no, it's just because then, I'll be like, just putting my videos up and that's it. Then I'll get like, so you're a Bernie supporter, now you like Trump, huh? And then I'll have to like respond, and it'll be so difficult for me not to respond. The first couple of weeks, I'll be like, don't respond. Let them say whatever they want. But then somebody will say something like really nasty, and I'll have to like, Rrr. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna even put myself in that position. I don't know if it would help me that much at all, really. I don't know, because you know what? I remember leaving Twitter 3+ years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, God, this is going to hurt my YouTube channel, but I can't do this anymore. This is like, bad. This is a very, very bad, dystopian, nightmarish cyber nightmare. But it actually didn't hurt. So, it actually didn't hurt. Being on, like, I would advise everyone not to be on social media, aside from YouTube, aside from this channel, the Stock Market Crash channel, and the Bitcoin Crash channel, because there's really nothing, like, there's no benefit to your life. I view YouTube as, like, you watch, my channel, or any channel, it's like a glorified VHS tape. You're basically watching a VHS tape that you're putting in, except it's VHS or video on demand. So, you're basically watching. You're basically watching whatever you want to, anytime you want, which is great. That's what YouTube is all about. But at the same time, Sandra, I only have my 3 YouTube channels. But at the same time, a message board based platform, it's a magnet for negative sentiment. That's why you got to keep, look, you have to surround yourself in life with positivity and people you can trust. That's why when I was disowned by 7 friends, I'm like, okay, you know what? It took me a long time because it hurt. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, good, thank you. Now I know I can't trust you. You know, like the song, I see your true colors shining through. And that's why I love you. So now you know. Okay, thanks. Now I know. And knowing is half the battle. Remember G.I. Joe? So that's like, But you should know also, like, don't jump into a cyber dystopian nightmare, hellscape. Don't jump into that. If you don't have to argue with somebody that you'll never meet in your life, don't do it. What's the point? What's the point? There's no point. There's no point to it. Why join Twitter or even, even Truth Social? Anything. Gab, anything. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. There's no point to like doing anything that gives you extra stress or negativity, because it's bad out there. Like, we live in a world now, everywhere you go, you have to, like, even if you pull into the supermarket, you have to watch. That's why, like, I pull into the supermarket, I'm watching. I come out with the groceries. I'm like looking every 180 degrees, just like looking, making sure that I can go ahead and pull my. This is a funny story. This was one evening, like a couple weeks back. I already said this. This is a hilarious story. Somebody was like hanging out near my car, and I'm like. Right near my car, and in my head, he was outside of his car, but there was somebody else there. I was like, and I had a lot of groceries. I'm like, I'm not going to take 10 years putting the groceries. Hi, how are you? So what I did was, I went ahead and I rolled the grocery shopping cart like 40 feet away, and then ran to the car, got into the car really quickly. So like. I wasn't taking any chances, and then I just drove the car back I drove the car to the shopping cart, which was like 40 feet away or 40 yards away or whatever. No, I agree. Definitely don't live in fear, but I think you should I think that you should be realistic and be very, very extremely cautious and safe, and definitely just don't trust. I wouldn't trust any stranger, any person nowadays. But I think that people, unfortunately, when the market tanks, the economy tanks, the recession hits, and people some people could be desperate. So the economy is unfortunately there's going to be layoffs. Exactly. Be aware of surroundings. Be aware of, where you are. Situational awareness. That's what I was trying to say. Situational awareness. What's going on? And so that's why I think, if you have situational awareness, that's the main thing. I think everyone, especially women, men and women. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think that exactly, Jeff. I agree. You're looking, ladies and gentlemen, at a very, very interesting couple of days. We will see what takes place. We will see what takes place. It'll be interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. God bless. I'll be back tomorrow evening. Be here tomorrow. Sorry for the wait. I had a technical issue. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much to my super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much to my super chat. Greatly, 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 greatly appreciated. Everybody in the super chat, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back tomorrow. Definitely watch out for the upload early in the morning. I have about 4 or 5 a.m. uploads now on this channel. And then the stock market crash and Bitcoin crash channel. I'll probably do a Bitcoin crash channel right now segment. But I have a very important segment on the stock market crash channel below as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody. Have a great, great evening. Be here for the live stream tomorrow.